know.
MagMongoSlade. MagMongoSlade. MagMongoSlade.
AEW Collision has officially fallen in the gutter and become the second and third hour of Rampage. This episode of Collision was virtually unwatchable. Virtually unwatchable. If it wasn't so laughable, and if the main event wasn't so solid, then I would suggest nobody watch this show. I would already suggest nobody watch this show. Watch the main event. Main event was good. Britt Baker, Chris Statlander, they did a good job. They were literally engaging. Part of this was because they were in Britt Baker's hometown. Well, she went to Penn State University, and that's where she graduated from. And Penn State University, their alumni paper or whatever, they're like a really in-depth background on Britt Baker. So it was very nice. It was nice to read. There's not much I can pull from it that we don't already know in order to do a news and notes on it. But it was very well written in terms of a biography on her up to this point. But, that emotion of her literally wrestling on her college campus is great. You would have thought they would have sold more tickets. You would have thought they would have been more energized. You thought they would have built the show more around her, but they didn't do any of that. But I guess we could talk about the show eventually, or you got to get into it eventually. You can't beat around the bush too much. There's nothing really in the notes page to talk about. So let's get into it. I guess if there is one note, it is that Jon Moxley told the world that he's got arthritis, and he's as arthritic as a 70-year-old man, which I have to say is quite sad, especially since he's a man with a young daughter. That's not good. He's probably just 40, if that. To say that he's got arthritis as bad as a 70-year-old man at barely 40 years old, oh brother, that's a tough one. He's got a young kid to play with and to hang out with and to raise, and maybe he'll have more. That's a strange situation. I mean, look, arthritis ain't the worst thing in the world. It ain't a heart condition but it's not good. He talked about, thank God wrestling matches aren't early in the day. He needs time to warm up. I'm like, oh my God, he's Joe Biden on the inside. Sheesh. He's Methuselah on the inside. He got old bones. That's crazy. I heard of being an old soul, but I didn't know your bones could be older than the rest of your body. I feel bad for him. Like I legit do, but I guess it would be all that abuse, the drugs and the alcohol and everything, all that stuff starts to add up. So, I hope Jon Moxley's joints are okay and, he doesn't lock up somewhere and be unable to continue and function. So that's really all it. That's as far as the news and notes is concerned. I can't think of anything else. Maybe something to pop up at some point, but let's just get into Collision because I want to get it over with. First match, Claudio, Bryan defeated by Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Ricky Starks pins Bryan Danielson. Big win for Ricky Starks. I have to say that. The match wasn't anything to write home about as far as I'm concerned. Them talking Bryan into wrestling with one arm that's quite something. I'm pretty sure they didn't have to twist his arm. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But having this guy wrestle with one arm, because I know that arm cannot be healed yet. Pretty dangerous. You run the risk of him making it worse. But he's involved, I guess, with two storylines. Now, we continue the rest of the show talking about these guys. One, you had Eddie Kingston. And Eddie Kingston was pretty upset. And he tried to explain again why him and Claudio don't like each other. They failed to fully explain this story several times. So this is another incarnation of them trying to explain why he doesn't like Claudio. It goes back to like 2006, 2007. We lived together when you first came here in this country. We was best friends, We was eating pizza, sleeping on the couch and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then you started judging me. He started looking at me, and cause you know I'm crazy, you know. I'm half Irish, half Puerto Rican, all nutty, you know what I'm saying? And I come from Yonkers. We come from New York. I come from Yonkers, and I, you know, I used to play in front of the fire hydrants and all that. You know what I'm saying? And you left. When you left me. You left a hole in my heart. You know, you left like potholes all over my heart, and I've been trying to fix that. And Renee says I fix it. I said I was gonna fix it. I thought a match would fix it. I thought tag teaming would fix it. But I don't know what else to do. But I'm sure this is gonna fix it. This is gonna fix it. I promise. This is it, one way or the other. And you know me, Claudio. You know me, Claudio. You know I push people away and then I blame them. That's part of my curse. That's what I do. But you think you can beat me in New York? You can't beat me in New York. I was born in the cold. I was born in the misery. And all this other stuff he started talking about. And again, I was like, well, he said that Claudio started judging him. Judging him for what? Exactly. Nothing specific, he just looked at him in judgment. And Claudio and Eddie Kingston couldn't handle that. I don't know. What is he judging him for? What are you doing, Eddie? Was you carrying a switchblade? You was watching too much of that Japanese pro wrestling. Did he tell you to stop watching, Kawada matches or whatever while he's trying to study or he's trying to learn English? And you sitting up here watching, All Japan 1997 tag team tournaments or whatever, keeping them up at night. Did he have to bang on the door and tell you to shut up? Stop smoking that dirty stuff. I don't know. Nobody explained this stuff fully to me. And thankfully, I'm at the point where I don't care. Claudio's version of events, it ain't much better. Because he says that he knows Eddie Kingston better than Eddie Kingston knows Eddie Kingston. He knows what Eddie could have become. And what he did become. And what he's thrown away. He knows all about Eddie's dreams and all of his title aspirations. And he's going to burn them all. So I'm guessing, going to have to take a stab at this, that Claudio was judging Eddie Kingston for not living up to his full potential. I'm guessing that's where we're going with this. That seems like that's the best way to explain it. Okay. All right, sure. Let's just go with that. All right, let's just go with that. We're going to headcanon ourselves into that because this is the match I actually care about on the show. It's been building up for months. It has stakes to it. Claudio either going to cough up that Ring of Honor belt, which he doesn't need because he doesn't defend it and it doesn't matter. Or Eddie Kingston is about to get embarrassed in front of his hometown. And I'm almost certain that Eddie Kingston is going to win this match. And I don't care that he does. It's going to be a big, huge pop, which is good. Next is the Elite. They accept the Mogul Embassy's challenge, but only if they put the 6-man Ring of Honor tag team titles on the line. Perfect for Rampage, so I don't have to watch it. So, Mogul Embassy versus the Elite on Rampage. Fine. Perfect. That's exactly the place for it. I don't have to deal with it. Powerhouse Hobbs starts talking about the Book of Hobbs and the chapter of destruction, and no one is safe, and he calls in pain, and no matter who or when or anything like this. Very vague. I don't know what the Book of Hobbs is. It's supposed to be like a Bible or something. I don't know. We're all lost in the sauce on this one. Just put him in the ring and let him break somebody. We could do the promos. That helps. But we also need him to squash people too. That would rule. Miro says that Hobbs should be thanking him. He took him to heaven and then stomped him back down to hell. But it didn't make him humble. And down the line, they're going to have to rectify their situation. Then he says that his wife delivered upon him temptation. And he will not bend. Because in her absence, it made people godless. And then it started going off into tangents about people worshiping him. And other stuff that I was like, needs more direction. Needs a little bit more direction. Next, the next match, the Iron Savages, or as I call them, Heavy Machinery 2.0, because one of these guys is literally Otis. That big dude that was to the far right. Far right? Far left? Well, it would be my left from where I'm sitting right now. But that guy, he's literally Otis. He's doing the Otis stomps and he's doing the gyrating, and this team is essentially heavy machinery. They're calling themselves the Iron Savages. This was abysmal. They wrestled FTR. What a joke this was. FTR wins with the Power and Glory finish. That was the best thing about all of this, if you ask me. So after the match, FTR still has their open challenge thing. And 2 runaway convicts jumped in the ring. JD Drake and Anthony Henry, referred to as the Workhorsemen, walked up to FTR, looked lustfully at the tag team titles, and then shook their hands very aggressively, agreeing to a tag team championship match next week on Collision. Bro, this is clearly a joke. This is clearly a joke. This is not real. All right? It is not real that the Workhorsemen are going to get a tag team title match or television time. Of all the people who are not featured on this show, you choose to feature JD Drake? What? Oh. So FTR, oh my goodness, good God. They they said that they've known about the Workhorsemen for 15 years. Yeah, right. They probably learned about them 10 minutes before that promo. To tie this together, Aussie Open won a squash match earlier in the night. Aussie Open is terrible. They look awful. They don't look like stars. They look like average Joes. And that one guy with the beard, he looks like the Butcher from Butcher and the Blade. They look like they could be brothers. You know, cousins at the very least. You know, cousins from the same dad. You know, that's how they look. Why are these guys? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Aussie Open won. Says that they're on the same level as FTR because they've also won tag team championships everywhere that they've been, and they actually never lost the New Japan heavyweight tag team titles. So they challenged them for a match at Wrestle Dream, and then says titles or not, we want to fight you guys, which is dumb because you should want them for the titles, but you know AEW is doing what AEW does. FTR accepted it. Everybody's going to be excited about it. I do not care, but I do not need to see the Iron Savages ever again. I don't want to see the Workhorsemen at all, period. It's all very unfortunate that we're stuck on this show. So, everybody, big pop on the Keith Lee segment. So, the production guy is on camera. Take 22, Collision, and action. And then we get a countdown as the microphone holder is standing there. And after the countdown, she blinks a lot. She's smiling awkwardly. Keith Lee is standing there with all... what is going on through that man's mind? What do you think is in his head right now? Oh, why are they called buffalo wings? There is not a hint of buffalo within them. Why would you lie to me such? And yes, action! And she starts talking about something or other, and then Shane Taylor showed up, and now Lee Moriarty is with Shane Taylor. Okay, Shane Taylor and Keith Lee used to be a tag team, but they didn't say that. Instead, they said that Shane Taylor wanted to challenge Keith Lee because Keith Lee told anybody to run, but Shane Taylor promotions don't run. Then Keith Lee says to Shane Taylor, I am familiar with you and your work, Mr. Taylor. We used to be brethren. I understand now. I understand you quite well. I understand that you make mistakes. Not running, not fleeing from me upon sight is one such mistake. And then Shane Taylor was like, yeah. And then turned around and walked off. They're mixing in all these ROH guys on this show now. This show is abysmal. This show is a detriment to everybody. It's become Bush League. It's become everything bad about AEW has been codified into Collision. This is great. Okay, this was a great moment for American wrestling television. All right, This was fantastic. A masterclass in not how to build a feud, not how to introduce a guy into a group, not how to handle production. This amazing. Oh, this was amazing. Wow. All the while, Keith Lee is standing there in a anime-inspired hoodie. My goodness. And it had to be like a 6X. What a big man. That's a big guy. Shane Taylor's a big guy too, but Keith Lee's a big guy. He was a big motherfucker. The third match on the show was John Silver versus Anthony Bowens. And this felt like Clockwork Orange. If it wasn't for my ability to blink and look away and look at my phone or look at literally anything else, I'd have thought this was torture. This match felt like it was on forever. For starters, I didn't know the Dark Order were heels, nor do I care. I don't understand why they're on television. Anthony Bowens is wrestling a singles match. I don't know why it was so long. I don't care. Max Caster came out there, says that Evil Uno looks like a dominatrix on a job interview, which I chuckled. I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled at that. It was alright. It wasn't too bad. Evil Uno attacked Anthony Bowens during the match, and they lost, meaning the Acclaimed lost, or Anthony Bowens lost. Got some decent heat after the match too, mainly because I think people just don't like the Dark Order. Not because they're so effective as heels, but the Dark Order, they're still around, and they're winning matches. It was bad enough when they were, down on your luck, bad news bears, baby faces. But now they're going to be winning and, challenging for the trios titles. I mean, please get bent. Speaking of the trios titles, apparently, they have decided to sell the trios championships, which they say are not replicas, but literal remakes of the trios titles with the scissoring strap for $5,000 American. Man, they don't get the fuck out of here with that. Oh, brother. I don't know what's going on anymore, bro. I guess it don't matter. AEW mocked themselves on the Ricky Starks promo by having another guy with the production guy in the shot. So they tried to make it like a bit, like they were, we can make fun of ourselves, which was, showing that they got a sense of humor at the very least, despite the fact that so many people are tearing them apart on Twitter about it. But Ricky Starks cut a promo that I thought was very good. He was upset that AEW played a video package for Zack Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson. He was upset because he beat Bryan Danielson, and Zack Sabre Jr. does not work there, and they're promoting a match on WrestleDream, a show that he's not booked for. So he says that he keeps hearing about everybody's dreams. He's going to be Danielson's nightmare. And he wants to fight Danielson next week in a Texas death match, which seems perfectly fitting for all people involved. Why is it a Texas death match? Have they had a regular match yet? They have not. Their first match was a strap match, for Christ's sake. Their second match was a tag team match. Why can't they just have a regular one-on-one match? I don't know. Look, I love Ricky Starks. I will take it. I'll take it. As long as it gets him on TV and it gets him, something to do, I'll take it. But, they're trying to pop a rating and they're trying to sell some tickets by making it a Texas death match, and it doesn't need to be. All right, so Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega, they showed a video package for them leading to and why it makes sense for Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita to go after him. All right, that's sensible at the very least. Then Katsuyori Shibata, who doesn't talk, but apparently cuts promos through a cell phone, which has got to be the most Vince Russo fucking gimmick to take place in this decade for a guy who maybe he doesn't speak English. You put a translator with him or something like that. You got the guy cutting a promo through Google Voice. This is ridiculous. What an absolutely retarded gimmick. Anyway, he says he's going to wrestle at Wrestle Dream, but no opponent has been chosen. Whatever. So then we get the match that pissed everybody off, where the Hardy Boys lost to the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch. The moment the 3 count happened, the fans absolutely revolted. The fans revolted. They were so pissed that they was not paying attention. They literally started to what? This promo. I told you last week, Vincent's his incarnation of Bray Wyatt is not going to work. Now that Bray Wyatt is dead, it's not going to work. It's dead in the water. But he tries to explain that the fans are prisoners or farce icons, and that they listen to the devils on their shoulders, but he doesn't believe in devils, which of course leads up to him talking about MJF and Adam Cole being the tag team champions of Ring of Honor. So we now got more Ring of Honor garbage being dumped on Collision. This is basically going to end up being a Ring of Honor show, huh? That's what's about to happen? This is about to be some kind of ersatz Ring of Honor show? I'm not interested in that. I know if Athena show up, I know something. If Athena show up on this show defending her title, I know something. All right? I already know what we're leading to at that point. It's going to be a stealth Ring of Honor show. But, boy. The Hardys losing this match. The fans was not having it. This is the second time they revolted. The first time is when the Workhorsemen came out and they were chanting, "Who are you? Who are you?" Absolutely not respecting those guys at all, which makes sense because they don't deserve respect. But then when Vincent was bragging about beating the Hardys, that was not good heat. It was not good heat. That was, what the fuck is this? This is garbage heat. This is fuck you guys heat. This is fuck this show heat. This was change the channel level heat. Oh, it was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty good. I'm not even going to complain about that. All right. I probably should back up a little bit because I'm actually near the end of the show. Orange Cassidy and Hook were eating nasty Doritos, which I know the word nasty and Doritos don't quite go together that well, but it was the purple bag Doritos, and those are, I think they're called sweet chili. Pass. I'm one of the old school Cool Ranch nacho cheese, spicy nacho Doritos. Oh yeah, when I was a kid, they had these Taco Bell Doritos. I was absolutely addicted to them things. Bro, I could have been 400 pounds just eating Taco Bell Doritos. My goodness. But these two jamokes eating fucking sweet chili Doritos or whatever it was in the purple bag, pass. They agreed to do a tag team match for some odd reason. But they said they were going to wrestle tag team at Grand Slam. I don't know why. Against who? I don't know. Does it matter? No. Do I care? Absolutely not. Do your thing, Tony Khan. Do your thing. Oh, I should back up. Aussie Open beat a couple of jobbers, but that wasn't even in the entertaining part. The entertaining part is one of the jobbers. He was freakishly large with braids. And that wasn't even the weird part. Like, he looked weird enough just being like freakishly big with like braids. But then he had the audacity to have a Rihanna forehead. I'm talking like 2 foreheads stacked on top of each other. But that wasn't even the most freakishly part of it. His forehead was shining like a buffed basketball court. I mean, it was polished. It was hilarious. I was dying at the guy. He went turned his head towards the camera and it was like shing. And I was like, what the hell? How did his forehead get like that? Well, they really picked like the weirdest bunch of guys to throw on television, bro. It's gross. Okay, so Toni Storm, she had a promo segment. She's hanging out with RJ City. I wasn't a big fan of RJ City, but anyway, Toni Storm cut this promo where she complained about the lights at first. The lights were too harsh. They were pretty bright, To her credit, they were pretty bright lights. Then she starts talking about how she hasn't changed. She's still the most lovable, adorable, talented, such and such ever. It's the business that has changed. They sign any little girl with a sob story now. This is the business. This is not a charity. And I was like, okay, this is good. I'm not sure if she's a babyface or a heel anymore, but this is good. So she starts talking about people not knowing talent if it slapped their tits off and all this sort of stuff. So she's doing okay. It's not as focused as it was when she was, when CM Punk was there. Her character is a lot more focused, but she's not doing bad. She's not doing bad. RJ City being her partner for these things now, I don't know. I guess he's got to have a job. I guess he's got to do something, right? Okay, but this was just part one. Apparently, there's going to be many parts to this. Okie dokie. But she says she doesn't want to mingle with the normies anymore. Again, I don't know if that means she's a babyface or a heel at this point. I don't know. Does it matter? Does AEW care? No. Okay. Scorpio Sky, he had back-to-back injuries, and now he's back. He's got the power to turn off the promo by snapping his fingers. He should probably snap the fingers on his own career. He lost to Andrade El Idolo. Look at me. Look at me. I haven't seen this guy in a long time. Look at me. I haven't seen him in a long, long time. Mr. Andrade El Idolo. Anyway. This match, basically an enhancement match. Andrade wins the match with the figure eight. Okay, fine. Then Jay White comes out. He's been missing for like 2 weeks. He shows up. He says that he's been watching Andrade, watching his boys. And he feels like Andrade wants his spotlight. And so he's going to give him an opportunity to steal his spotlight next week on Collision. So they're going to go one-on-one, Andrade and Jay White. I like that idea. That's good stuff. Okay, thumbs up right there. Ricky Starks versus Danielson. Jay White versus Andrade. Okay, next week's Collision will be infinitely better than this one. But before Jay White got to the official challenge, most of his promo was him doing bang bang gang stuff. So now they started calling Colton Gunn fully cocked Colton Gunn and rock hard Juice Robinson. But they can't come up with a dick metaphor for Austin Gunn yet. They haven't come up with anything dick related for him yet. So until they do, he's just known as Austin Gunn. So I think this is probably the most personality Jay White has shown in a promo in a long time. So that was good. And I like the idea of him wrestling Andrade. That's good too. Hopefully this leads to Andrade, Rush, and Dralistico and Preston Vance and all of them teaming up. Yeah, I would hope so. If not, then I don't understand what we're doing here. But then again, I don't understand 90% of this show anyway. All right, the main event, Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. Very good match. Britt Baker in her hometown or in her home element. Crowd was very excited, expected her to win. This is a match, I think, that matters to the people. Something they wanted to see. It would have mattered a lot more if Britt Baker hadn't been on this epic losing streak. But they actually did something they very rarely do, which is have somebody lose in their hometown. So the crowd was very disappointed that Britt Baker lost. But the finish was actually believable. Britt Baker went for the lockjaw while Chris Statlander was in the abdominal stretch. And she just countered it into a crucifix and pinned her. Perfectly acceptable. It's not like she got hit with a finish and knocked unconscious and pinned in front of her people. She lost in a very wrestling way, and it really helped build Chris Statlander. Praise God. Okay, good. Why couldn't they do this for Jade Cargill when she needed big wins instead of having her wrestle fucking Kiera Hogan 6 times and Red Velvet 72 times? She could have been beating Britt Baker and, some upper level talent, but for some reason they decided to protective book her, at that point. But now Britt Baker's on a losing streak. She can lose singles matches in her hometown to Chris Statlander. All right, fine. I like Britt Baker. I want more for her. Again, I don't think the division needs to be built around her, but she certainly could be doing something. And I think this match was one of her better matches. And I got to give both girls credit. They really killed it. And once again, I think this episode in NXT, the women stole the show as the main event. All right. You know, they did a good job. Overall, this Collision show was hot. It was not good. It was absolute basura. It was hot ass. But you already know that. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.